Food, 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 and another food, another delicious food. Food, 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 food. We meet again, ladies and gentlemen, with another review, this time with Delicious in Dungeon. I must say I really came late to the party with this one. It was actually recommended to me by one of my very dear friends. She basically is not an anime watcher, like not a regular one, so she really watched maybe, I think maybe it was her even first one. And together with her husband, she saw this anime like about cooking and about dungeons and RPG. So basically she recommended to me. I knew about it, but I don't know, food. I was really hesitant to watch it, but since she recommended me, I thought I need to really watch it as someone who is really dedicated to anime. So I said, let's give it a chance.
Okay, let's go.
And I'm super happy I really gave it a chance. I think with the first part to stay spoiler free. So let me first start a little bit about the story and then we can get a little bit more deeper. So the story is basically centered around a group of adventurers. And basically we have Chilchak, we have Laios, we have Marsil, and we have Senshi. This is kind of the party around the story revolves around them. I think in the first episode it begins with like they are attacking a dragon. The dragon eats Falin, and Falin is basically the sister of Laios, who is kind of the leader of the party. And this is basically how it begins with the first episode. What happens is they want to go save Fallen because she's kind of like a party member. Going down into the dungeon, they don't have a lot of food and they don't have a lot of money, so they still decide to go. And while being in the dungeon, Laios, the main guy, he found this kind of book about cooking in the dungeon, like cooking monsters. And what they do is, he proposes to cook the monsters. Then they meet Senshi, who is this super expert on monster food or monsters being cooked. Yeah, basically he shows them you can cook all this monster. He makes like a super awesome dish right at the beginning, and that's basically how it goes. And every episode is always like a highlight of a super nice like culinary food, and it's super nice to watch. First of all, I want to talk about the food in general. So I'm not a huge fan of these like cooking shows, cooking anime. So for me personally, it was really hard to go through the first part of the anime, so the first 10 episodes. It was really painful, I would say, even. Maybe a bit controversial. I like the foods, they looked really good, like animation wise and how they looked like. It was great. But for me, I'm a person who is really story driven. I really need cool story. And basically the story starts with them searching for dragon who ate Falin, his sister, like Lau's sister. The first 10 episodes is mainly about the whole concept of cooking. It was very hard for me to go through it, but what really helped me was the comedy part. So if you are someone who is very similar to me and doesn't like really the cooking aspect of the anime itself, I highly suggest to stay, because the story will progress, the story will move, but it takes a bit of time. I think the anime really tries to first focus you on the food, because that's the main part of the anime, and then it slowly starts to ramp up with the story, which should be then the food should hook you, and then the story should, let's say, keep you. Definitely don't worry, the story will continue progressing later, but it takes a bit more time compared to, let's say, other animes. And we are back again with our cross-dressing gist. So we move to the spoiler part, slash judging slash like reviewing after watching it. So this part will contain spoilers. What I want to first talk about is the absolute amount of funny scenes that I think there is a lot of memes from those. The whole comedy, like when Marcel got changed into stone, or when Laios was trying to heal Senshi, he was like, don't touch me there. Or for example, how they each perceived the other guy, and that was super funny, how Laios perceives everybody, how Senshi perceives everybody. And it was super nice to, I don't remember who exactly was perceiving Senshi as this like super handsome guy. I think maybe it was himself, I don't know, but it was super funny. So I think those moments were like super crazy.
Also, I have a wife and kids, but for reasons I haven't seen them in a while. Well, that about sums it up.
As mentioned at the beginning, I don't think the story is not that complicated. They just go in search for Falin, then they find it. And I think when they find Falin, or when they kind of revive her, I think that's where the story really takes off, with her, turning into a griffon, whatever that animal is, and the weird mage. So I think that's really where it's really interesting. And again, the story is very simple. Like when they meet the second group, I think that's also very cool. So I think that's really when. So let's talk a bit about the pros and cons. I have my hammer. So the pros of the show is definitely the animation is great. I think the cooking concept is good, but I don't think it's for everyone. So the cooking concept and everything, about the foods and stuff is super, super cool. The characters are very cool. The music is also great. So I think those are kind of the pros. As for the cons, I think the pacing at the beginning was kinda meh. I think they could reduce the amount of, I mean, they could meet Falling, let's say, sooner, for example. That's not up for me to decide, but for me personally, I think it took a bit of time to really, for the story to take off, or I mean, progress in the story itself. So for me, that is a bit of a con. Maybe dive deeper into Senshi Space, because I think Senshi Space is very cool, and they maybe could have introduced it a bit sooner. So I think that is also very, very interesting. And yeah, I think for me the con is only the cooking, like the slow really ramping up and just focusing purely on the cooking. You know, if I would want to watch like a cooking show, I could just, you know, turn on a cooking show, right? So I'm watching anime always like for maybe some good story, maybe something that the anime can give back. So for me, that was a con. And so in the end, I still judge Delicious in Dungeon as best vibe check. So for me, the show was great. I really highly recommend it to everyone. It's really good. I'm super happy that there should be, I don't know if it's a second season, or I think they announced a movie. I don't remember now specifically. They announced it like a continuation of the series, so I'm super happy for that, and I will definitely watch it this time much more sooner than, you know, I missed on this anime previously. So I think that concludes my judging, my review, and my kind of thoughts on the whole anime. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Like, you know, or subscribe. So thank you for watching. See you in the next review.